15 kilowatts is usually quite large, and ours is 19. So it takes up our whole south side of our garage and the back of our house, and then just a few on the front. So it doesn't look all that fancy from curb appeal, but there's a lot there.
There's a lot going on. Can I ask how much you spent on that?
It's spendy.
Yeah, okay.
We're to do a deep energy retrofit. You're definitely looking at $100,000 and up, depending on what you want to do, and where your starting mark was. We're a 1980s house, so that's still a 2x4 frame construction. If you're doing it to a newer house, there's definitely been big advances in building codes that you don't have to make up such a gap that we did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you won $50,000. That helps a little bit. But how have you been thinking about the return on these investments in relation to your motivation to do these things?
Yeah. Well, my husband's a business analyst, so the numbers were important, and we're not Rockefellers. This didn't come out of our piggy bank or our trust funds.
Right,
we don't
right.
have those kinds of things. So to fund it, we actually used the federal government's Greener Homes loan program, as well as we pulled equity from our house because we had already owned it for 5 years. But we really crunched the numbers to make sure that this would all work out. And even since we had started planning to when it's implemented, because of the rising costs in natural gas and electricity, our payoff period is shortening. We'll have a better idea once we've hit our full year mark of collecting data. But January alone, last year we were spending $400 and something on our utilities. This year I paid our electricity provider $200 and something all in.
Okay. So ballpark, what are you hoping, I guess, for a return on investment?
Usually for a solar install, because the economies of scale are coming down quite rapidly, you're looking at about 7 years. But with the way utility prices have been going up, we might be well under that 10-year mark altogether.
Okay. So what advice do you have for people who may want to make, their homes more energy efficient by a whole bunch, or, in steps?
Yeah. So our story is getting a lot of news because it is big and flashy and not a lot of people do it. But we were doing this for years ahead of time with the little things like outlet gaskets to prevent air leakage through your outlets. But once you're ready to maybe look at what a full scale would look like, get a building scientist, an analyst to look at your house specifically. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Just because I did ground source heat pumps and solar on my house, it wouldn't work on my mother's house even. So there's different approaches, and they're the people that can really crunch the numbers and know what's the cutting edge techniques. And there's things where if you do them out of order, it will actually end up costing you more money in the long run. A lot of people think sustainability, I'm going to go buy solar panels. It's counterintuitive, but it's the last thing you should do, because you want to reduce your energy consumption as much as possible so that you don't have to buy more panels than you actually need, because panels are still quite expensive. So it's better to work on the not so sexy parts of sustainability first, like air leakage and insulation.
Right. I guess you're never going to move.
We were considering the idea of moving, but now my house is too special. I really don't want to leave it.
I wondered about how it feels to live in this house that you're in this kind of interesting relationship with.
Yeah, I definitely have poured my heart and soul into it for the last couple of years. So it's a big piece of pride. And we bought the house originally 5 years ago because it's across the road from my children's elementary school. So we're really using the opportunity to use this as an educational tool, because when we were in school, all we learned was reduce, reuse, recycle. Well, nowadays that's a little outdated. We need a little bit more than that. And when I was in elementary school, I would have loved to know that these technologies existed. Not only that, but to see it right across the road, and see how it actually works.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for coming in to tell us all about it, to wise us up. Appreciate it, Samantha.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Samantha Shanage from Airdrie. She and her family were just awarded the $50,000 top prize of Canadian Geographic's Live Net Zero Challenge.
The snow continues to fall this morning. It's 0 right now at the airport. 1 degree is our high for today. About 5 centimeters of snow on the way through today, and it looks like the snow does not taper off until around noon tomorrow. Now, traffic is moving slowly across the city. We have lots of volume, and we did get a call about a problem in the southeast.
Good morning. This is Julia, Sean, and Hazel. We are eastbound on Glenmore Trail. There is a stalled vehicle in the middle lane. Again, that's eastbound Glenmore, just east of McLeod Trail, kind of on that bridge over, I guess that would be Centrana maybe. Right in the middle lane, you just come up on it, and there it is. That's going to slow everything down for sure. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the call. A traffic trio, Julia, Sean, and Hazel. Team call. And we are seeing delays there. It is a very slow go all around Glenmore Trail and Deerfoot Trail, actually. And then in the northwest, there's a collision eastbound Memorial Drive. As you're approaching 10th Street, it's the right lane that's blocked there. I'll be back in 10 with an update.
Thank you very much, Angela. Now, as we get further into spring, a lot of people will be spending more time outdoors, fixing things, gardening, doing yard work, maybe even getting out of town into the mountains. For 1 in 5 Canadians, that outdoorsiness also means seasonal allergies, things like runny noses, sneezing,